Hey, what's poppin', people? Welcome to the first episode of Rugby over FIFA. I'm Jay Wave, and we are about to discuss rugby while playing some FIFA. I am an All Black supporter, but I'm from South Africa, so I have close ties to actually watching South African rugby as well. And this is the perfect one to start with: South Africa versus New Zealand, Mbombela Stadium. The result was kind of expected. I think I expected the result. I have to say, hats off to the Springboks, hats off to South Africa. It was a really good match. They definitely improved from the Wales games that they played. You could definitely see a lot of improvements. We'll touch on that in the second half. So I play first half. I'm going to chat about the All Blacks performance first, and then I'm chat about the Springboks performance, which I do applaud. They did a really good job. Firstly, All Blacks, New Zealand. The positives. There were some few positives that actually came out of the match. Some things that they improved on from the games against Ireland. Definitely maul defense. They definitely put a lot of pressure on South Africa's maul, or they defended the maul pretty well. I could say that. And besides the maul defense, there was definitely improvement in defense overall. So South Africa's backline couldn't get started a lot. We'll get to that in the second part. However, I feel like the defense of the All Blacks definitely improved. I won't say it's at a level where they could be proud of, but they definitely improved on that sense. However, coming into the negatives, there are a couple of negatives, and there's actually a lot of negatives that we can look at. And I think it's obvious to a lot of people. New Zealand is playing without game plans. New Zealand is struggling with confidence. Whether the fact that the team has belief, or whether they are sure about themselves, it's definitely not translating onto the field. There's no confidence in anything they are doing. I almost gave a goal away there. But there's no confidence in anything that they are doing, and it just looks like a downward slope. The first thing is there was no dominance in any area. South Africa completely dominated the All Blacks. New Zealand couldn't come up, and they didn't look sharp in any area of the game. Nothing. Kicking was not good. Backline, like formation, running, all those things, it just did not look good at all. Usually New Zealand at least dominates some area. I think they thought they were going to put a lot of pressure in scrum times. None of that was there. Something that you usually see from the All Blacks, which is just sad. Let me just score this goal. I thought I was going to score there. Anyway, forwards were poor at breakdowns. Breakdowns is something that in the Richie McCaw era was a highlight and a very big part of New Zealand games. Being able to secure the ball, being able to play off quick ruck ball. None of that is there. The forwards are struggling to play cohesively. They're struggling to actually secure the ball on their breakdowns, and they are not threatening at all when it's the other team's breakdown, and that's really bad. They rely a lot on individuals to make decisions to go for steals, but in this match we didn't see any. I can't remember if I saw any attempt to steal the ball, any attempt at ruck time. So that was pretty poor. That's a big area that they should focus on, because you can't play a game if you can't secure your ruck time, have clean ball for the backs to actually do something. But that also comes to my third point. I think the back line looks completely lost. They are lackluster. It's a two-part. There's a two-part to this. I actually want to highlight, but there's no sense of urgency in this back line. There's only two players that stood out for me was Bowden Barrett and Caleb Clark. Caleb Clark, because he has a hunger to actually be the starting 11 for the team, and Bowden Barrett is just trying to do a lot, and it's kind of a negative and a positive for me. because on the positive side, he's taking, what's the word, man? He's taking the responsibility on himself. Catch the high balls, put the ball in space. He doesn't pass often though. That's a big worry thing for me. But he does he made a good break. Almost set up something, but it didn't work out. But he has great vision. However, it's a double-edged sword, because he is taking on so much responsibility on himself that he's not allowing any other backline player to put up their hand and say, okay, I see Bowden is doing his job, let me do my job properly. And a sad thing that when he got injured and he went off, Mo'anga came on, and then it looked like the backline started playing a bit more with intent. Mo'anga distributed more than kicking. I can't remember. Probably my memory is probably not serving me properly now, but I can't remember seeing him kick the ball. It was mostly distributing the ball to Havili kicked the ball a lot. Badly kicked the ball as well. Not gonna get into that yet. But when Mo'anga came on, there was definitely more backline play, more responsibility on other players' shoulders besides the 10, like Bowden Barrett. And a try came off of that, and almost gave the goal away. And a try came off of that. They built up, they put on some pressure. Caleb Clark made a break. Shannon Frizzell scored. And that's probably one of the only positives I also have in the game. They scored a try. They managed to score a try. But that's because someone came on to trust the rest of his team to actually put in the effort. However, Bowden Barrett he was definitely a standout player for New Zealand, but I'll get into standout players soon. Another negative, like I said, backline in no direction. Especially that first half before Mo'anga came on. They still unsure. Even when Mo'anga played though, even when Mo'anga was there, they're still not sure about how to hit line breaks, how to put their position in their half, how to assert themselves on the match. And it's quite bad. It's worrying, because that's a strength of New Zealand, but it wasn't there. It hasn't been there for quite a while. They've been relying on individuals, and it's sad to see. Another goal, well done. I spoke about Richie Mo'anga when he came on, and then that's all I have to talk about New Zealand. Wow, it's sad. Obviously there's a lot of players who I feel like they didn't put their hand up. Sam Cane I feel like he's carrying too much weight on his shoulders. He's lost a lot of who he is as a player because of dealing with a lot of criticism of being a captain and everything we see on social media. He's not up to par, and he's not the same Sam Cane that he's always been, or he used to be at least. So it's quite worrisome, but I'm not here to bash anybody. Standout players for New Zealand, definitely Bowden Barrett. Like I said, took on a lot of responsibility on his own. He did a lot. There's a lot that he's done and a lot that you won't see that he's done, but he's really been a star on the team. Ari Savia gives his best every single match. Definitely one of the standout players in terms of belief and intent in what he wants to do on the field. I actually feel for him, because he definitely puts in so much effort, and it just seems like the rest of the team can't keep up with him. I gave a goal away there. Damn. And then Caleb Clark, again, like I said, dude came on. Dude is trying to prove himself again that he should deserve that starting role on the 11. I feel like he, other than other years, he actually started looking for work a lot more. We started seeing him a lot in the midfield, not just staying out on the wing waiting for someone to give him a break. He was looking for work a lot. Really good, and then obviously set up a try, which is something that's really good. But even the tackle department, I think he was one of the people who made a lot of tackles, probably the most out of the backs. But yeah, New Zealand was struggling under the high ball. They still can't defuse that, and they've been working on that since last year, since probably like just post 2019 World Cup. They've been put under pressure in the air, and South Africa just stuck to their guns on that. Second half, let's talk about the Springboks. So, like I said, even though I believe New Zealand's performance was poor, they don't look a shadow of themselves or how a New Zealand team should play. South Africa did really well. They definitely improved from the Wales games actually. All the Wales matches were close. I think that last one just got out of hand there at the end. South Africa looked a bit better than Wales for most of the second half, but South Africa definitely looked better. They looked a better team. They looked prepared to play. They dominated every single area. Every single area they dominated. However, there were still negatives in that game, in that South African game, and we'll chat about it now. But positives first. Like I said, completely dominated the entire area. They never looked like losing momentum. Even with the try that the All Blacks scored, I think that was more of a, I'm not sure if it was a lapse in concentration or something, but South Africa just let up on that moment and they just looked dominant for the rest of the game. Box kicks were perfect. I feel Jaden Hendrickse came on very early, but he did a great job of putting up contestable kicks. Usually South Africa's kicks aren't contestable. They are hard to follow up on, but the attacking kicks were really good. They put a lot of pressure on New Zealand, and it definitely paid off. They got a try from one, and they just kept on putting pressure on New Zealand in terms of box kicks, etc. I don't know why I chose this guy to play, man. I should have gotten Traore. Sorry, talking about my team here. Yeah, box kicks really good. South Africa's kicking game plan is starting to really find the groove of it, especially with putting up chases to actually contest the kicks that they're putting up. Not just kicking the ball away aimlessly, not just kicking and hoping for a mistake. They're actually following up on that. So that's definitely something that they've improved on, because they didn't play like that for against the Wales. I'm playing badly now, man. I don't know why. Game structure. So I call it game structure, but it's more game plan. They definitely look like a team who goes onto the field and know exactly what they need to do. Every player has their role. Every player knows exactly what they need to do. Forwards kept on putting a lot of pressure. Backs, kick chases. That was really good. What happened there? Offside, okay. And it was good. Like, just having it's a weird concept for me, because I've never thought of it like that. But it's interesting seeing a team play with an actual game plan. Watching Super Rugby mostly, and then watching the New Zealand matches, it's such an unstructured game that they're doing. So seeing a team going onto the field, knowing exactly what they want to do and actually executing it to the T is really good. Ireland also did that really well against the All Blacks. I think it's going to be very interesting to see Ireland playing in South Africa though. But that's a chat for another time. This team is putting a lot of pressure on me right now. This is one I highlighted. They scored opportunistic tries, which is something that's very rare for South Africa. South Africa is known for the maul tries and having forward dominance and using forwards to actually set up a try. That's another point I can give to New Zealand's defense, that they didn't allow that type of attack from South Africa. But South Africa scored opportunistic tries, which you don't usually see. Box kick. I think, did Arendse catch that ball? I don't think Arendse catch that ball, but he contested. Ball was dropped. Quickly snatched it up. Beautiful pass. Arendse scores on debut. it was a good try, and then that second try from Valileru, again, um, a mistake in the New Zealand 22. I think that was 22, but either way, deep inside their half, Valileru pounces and scores. That's not something that South Africa is known to do. They don't usually pounce and do opportunistic tries, but they did it really well in this match. And I think that's also credited to the defense that I talked about on New Zealand's part, which they improved on. It wasn't a great defense, but they definitely gave South Africa a bit of a run for their money in terms of scoring their normal tries from mauls and from set piece or set piece, forward dominance, whatever you want to call it. Scrums were really good. South Africa's scrums were amazing. South Africa at the breakdowns were amazing. Marks, you people don't give this guy credit. They do give him credit, but he deserves a lot more credit for the way he's able to really put pressure on the breakdowns and turn over ball. He turns balls over, especially when it's an important time for New Zealand to actually have some go forward. I can't fault South Africa at the breakdowns. They were really good. Scrums were really good. Even got a lot of penalties out of the scrums, which is something you don't. I can't say New Zealand don't usually give scrum penalties away, but these days they've been struggling a lot for really dominating the scrums. South Africa did well though. I definitely think that's a weapon that they will definitely work on and keep on improving in the future. Another goal for me. And like I said, defense. Okay, didn't mention the defense, but South Africa's defense was really good as well. New Zealand had no chance of breaking the line. Not that they even tried, but they had no chance of breaking the line. Damien Willemse, that beautiful try-saving tackle that he did against Caleb Clark. The team just really puts emphasis on the defense and making sure that they defend the line, and that was something that really stood out for me. Negatives, like I mentioned it before, South Africa is struggling with, I don't want to call it what the New Zealand pundits call it, like playing creative game, but they struggle to put a lot of gameplay with the ball in hand. A lot of the, like I said, tries came from opportunities that they took, which is really good. But there was no cohesion in actually building and creating a try from using the back line, I would say, even using their forwards running. It's something that South Africa's been struggling with though. They've never been a team that really plays backline type of plays and score. Okay, not recently though. They used to be that way, but recently they definitely shift their focus more towards forward dominance and defense instead of running backline plays, running set piece plays off of the backline or off of a set piece. Backline didn't look threatening at all. Arendse's red card was really. It was coming though. It was coming. Arendse was very poor in the air type of ability. His ability is good. I've seen him be a menace in the air, but his technique in protecting the player, his technique in protecting the play in the air was poor throughout the game. And then succumbed a red card and almost broke Beauden Barrett's neck. He got hurt himself, which is sad, and it's probably going to be suspended for a while. And I didn't want to see that because he was definitely a stand-up player for South Africa. Definitely wanted to see a bit more of him. That's all I have in terms of negatives. South Africa, like I said, they put their hand up and they definitely controlled the game. They showed why they are the world champions. A lot of people still stick to that. They're the world champions. They just showed why they are the world champions, I guess. But yeah, really good game from South Africa. Standout players for South Africa, definitely Hendrikse. I feel like he had a good debut. He was one of the key figures in contesting the box kicks. He scored a try, the opening try, which was good, but unfortunately got the red card. But he was still a stand-up player for me. Malcolm Marx didn't give New Zealand an inch. They weren't able to do anything, get any go forward ball off of breakdowns, because when he saw something's going to happen, he stole the ball and made sure that there was no continuous attack from that runs. Visa stood out for me in terms of tackling. He definitely put up his hand in terms of defense. I feel like he led his forwards a lot in terms of defense, and that was really good. Lucanio set up the try for Arendse, but he also looked threatening a few times. There was a few times that he looked really good. Hendrikse. Did I say Hendrikse? I said Arendse the whole time. I was talking about Arendse in the first time, but Hendrikse actually was the player that stood out for me the most. He came on, he did a lot. He put up contestable box kicks. He was quick to get the ball out of the rucks. Not always. He did his little that snail thing that you do when you put the trail in the ruck and kick the ball. He did that a lot, but I feel like his kicking game was really good. He definitely made sure that they didn't miss Faf de Klerk on the field. Interesting, I said we didn't, but I'm actually All Black supporter. But anyway, it's still my country. And then Pollard with really good goal kicking. We saw he missed a few goals in the Wales games, but he definitely improved on that. He also put up a lot of contestable kicks. But like I said, South Africa still have some things to work on, being a bit more creative with the back line. They don't need to, because they're already winning games. They know how to win games. That's something that's the Springboks are really good at. They know exactly how to win a game. Even if it's boring to watch, or even if it's not exciting, they are going to win a game. They're guaranteed. When they switch things on, and if things work for them, they know how to win games. New Zealand, they lost that ability. They don't know how to switch. They don't know how to adapt to different game plans. They don't know how to turn it up for the entire 80 minutes. Even the past few games, you just seen them have like 20 minutes of brilliance, which fortunately put them in the lead. There's a lot to improve on for both teams. I feel like New Zealand have a lot more to improve on than South Africa. I feel like South Africa is definitely the favorites going into the second match, and I can just wish both of them good luck. If you like this podcast, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what you think the results of the next match would be, some score predictions, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.